did the Germans attack Poland during World War II? What was the reasons why Hitler wanted Poland? Why? Let's break it down. Very a simplistic view would be, oh, he wanted Gdansk, he wanted Danzig in the Polish corridor. That's just the surface. That is just the surface. That is just the surface level reason. That's really the overriding strategic reason, Polish corridor and Danzig. But in reality, if you look at the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, this stuff was decided after Czechoslovakia. It was decided after Czechoslovakia. And the Polish actually attacked. Poland used the weakness of Czechoslovakia, the Czechoslovakia state, after they were kind of being dissolved by Germany. And the Poles, they used that opportunity to take a piece of land in Czechoslovakia. They issued an ultimatum and they annexed the disputed land. They didn't attack. There was no resistance. But it was a German-speaking minority. But, it's a slippery slope. Another strategic reason why they wanted Poland, the Germans wanted Poland. I'm just listing their strategic goals. It's mostly because they wanted to, there's a multitude of reasons. Hitler needed reassurance that after he attacked Poland, that he wouldn't be at war with the enemy at the east, which was Russia at that time, the Soviet Union. He needed reassurance from the Soviet Union that Stalin wouldn't attack Germany in response to Germany attacking Poland, because the Soviets would feel threatened. That's why they needed so many different buffer states between them and Germany. So there was already distrust to begin with. The alliance, the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, was more of a convenience thing. It was convenient for both sides to have that pact. There was a lot of secret protocols in that pact that a lot of people don't know about, which is mainly the Romanian the Romanian territory of Bessarabia that was included in the pact. Secret protocol. The Russians are allowed to take take Bessarabia, and the spheres of influence were clearly defined. Russia would take the Baltic states, but they would not take Lithuania. Lithuania would go to Germany, but then the Soviets, they made another deal with the Germans, and they said that we will give you more Polish territory if you exchange it for Lithuania, and Hitler agreed. This is everything that's gone into it. This is the reasons why they attacked, breaking it down slowly by slowly. And they wanted a springboard, the Germans, they wanted a springboard to attack the Russians. Without taking Poland, there's no way they can have a jumping off point to attack Russia. They need Poland. Poland was going to be attacked because they were in between a very bad situation. The territorial concessions after World War I were unacceptable to both Germany and the Soviet Union, which meant Poland couldn't really win for losing. What could Poland do? What could Poland do in this situation? Well, they shouldn't have attacked. They shouldn't have took Czechoslovakian territory. I think that was a blunder. I also think that there was really not much they could do in the sense that they could defend against Russia and Germany. No, they would have to concede to either party, which we know they would never concede to Russia. So they would have to concede to Germany, and Germany would have to roll up the front and defend against Russia. But it's a slippery slope. Moving on. Also, propaganda reasons. They attacked Poland and they justified it by saying that there was a genocide happening against the ethnic Germans that were living in Poland, which was falsified. It was mostly a casus belli. It was just something to justify the invasion. It was a casus belli to justify the action, the propaganda. This is part of warfare. Information war has always been part of warfare. Now let's look at what's happening in Ukraine right now. The Western media and the Russian media, both sides are not telling the truth. But I would say the truth is more so on the Western side because people believe them more. Why? Because they're in power. Why? Because they have more money. Why? Because they have more influence. That's why. Now, how did the invasion of Poland come about? Would Germany have would Germany have given up, not started the war if Poland gave up Danzig and the Polish corridor? They wanted the Polish corridor so they could link a motorway between the East Prussia and Gdansk, which is known as Danzig at that time. And there were a lot of other reasons too. The Treaty of Versailles, which underlined that the Germans would not be able to exceed a military of over 100,000, their navy would be restricted, their cabinet would be restricted, they would not be able to maneuver the way they want, so many restrictions on every different thing. So Hitler wanted to do away with the Treaty of Versailles more so than anything. And that was the reason why he was able to win the elections and become the dictator. Well, first of all, he wasn't the outright dictator. The president Hindenburg gave him the chancellorship of Germany, and then he dissolved parliament and took power and completely destroyed all of the political opponents and destroyed them and killed them and got rid of them. And he became the ultimate power in Germany. That's how he seized power. Like, so many nuances and reasons why, but I'll give you guys a little bit more detail in this video. What preceded the breakdown of talks, and why did this conflict come to a head to the point where Germany attacked Poland in 1939? Well, there's a couple reasons, and there's a couple things that led up to it. In 1939 of April, Hitler unilaterally withdrew from the talks and from the non-aggression pact that the Germans had with Polish in 1934. He canceled it, and he canceled the Anglo-German agreement, naval agreement of 1935. The reasons for this? Because talks over Danzig and the Polish corridor broke down, because Hitler wanted the Polish corridor and he wanted to link it to the enclave which was in the German Empire, which is East Prussia. Now it's interesting because the Polish corridor actually had a Polish majority, but the territory of the Free City of Danzig, which is a semi-autonomous territory, which was actually dominated economically by Poland at that time, was majority German. So the reason why the Allies, namely France and Britain and whatever, they didn't attack as much as they would have, because they felt that, well, the Germans are just taking back all the territory, so it's not something that we should die on that hill. Why should we die on that hill? Why should we fight and lose our lives over Danzig, a city that is really German? That's the reason why the Allies didn't attack, more so than anything. There were a couple other points that I almost missed. The Germans realized that the British and the French failed to conclude an alliance with the Soviet Union, which meant that the Nazis would be able to make a pact with them against Poland. Because as I mentioned before in this video, the territorial, integrity of Poland was disputed by both Germany and the Soviet Union. So it was more so a thing of being in between two powerful countries that want territory back that they feel was robbed by the Allies after World War I. And let's not forget the reason for the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was just so that the Germans could eliminate any possibility of the Soviets attacking Germany for attacking Poland. Really, that's the only reason. Hitler wanted to ensure that there was no interference militarily from the Soviet Union, which is the reason why he concluded the alliance with the Soviet Union through the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, which was really an alliance of convenience. It wasn't a real alliance. It wasn't a real treaty. It was nothing. It's just a piece of paper. Which was namely the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. That was the reason why they lost so much Polish territory, and they lost Ukraine, and they lost the Baltic states, and they lost Georgia and Finland, gave up Poland and the Baltic states. So Stalin wanted to take all of it back, which meant the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was crucial for both parties, but really just a convenience. But what was the reason the Western Allies no longer trusted Germany because of Czechoslovakia. The Munich Agreement stated explicitly, the Munich Agreement stated specifically that the Germans would only annex Sudetenland, which is the German-speaking part of Czechoslovakia. What happened? Hitler took the whole shit. He took the entire country, fucking occupied the whole shit, and he divided the spoils up with Hungary and Poland to keep his allies happy. You know, it is what it is. But you know, pretty crazy stuff, right? So this basically set the stage for the Danzig crisis. Why? Why did it set the stage for the Danzig crisis, guys? Answer the question for me in the comment section. Just take a moment. More so because it proved that Hitler could no longer be trusted after that. So France and Britain, what conclusion are they left to draw? That means they have to make a casus belli to Germany. That if they attack Poland, they're at war. Which Hitler didn't actually believe that the British and French were going to declare war on him because of Danzig. His foreign minister, Ribbentrop, told Hitler explicitly that the British and French would not attack over Danzig. They would not, in no certain terms. And then when they attacked, Hitler was like, what now? And Ribbentrop was speechless. He had nothing to say. And he wanted this war, and they got it. Crazy, but you know, it's, and also there was the reason why was because they wanted to strengthen their hold over the Baltic Sea. That's why they attacked and took over Poland, because it would give them more territorial rights to ports, and they will be able to supply their troops better. Yes, of course. Man, it's just crazy to me, dude. And when did the French and British declare that they guaranteed the independence of Poland? In 1939, March 1939, before the attack. When did they attack? September 1939. So the entire time they were massing troops on the border, and they were massing troops in East Prussia so that they could link up with them. And that's what they did. And the attack for Poland was called Case White. Yes. Case White. That was the operational plans for attacking Poland militarily. This is all in Mein Kampf, guys. Surprised lebrensaum. That was the main reason for his territorial ambitions. Expansionism. That's exactly what it was. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I outlined all the reasons why Germany attacked Poland in World War II. I hope you guys like this video and subscribe.